All this prep work and all this anticipation comes down to 5 seconds of going, well, I guess I'm done.
This stuff is toxic.
It really is. It burns the eyes. One ugly coat of primer down, but it does look better than it did. But that's nowhere near what we want it to look like. You've got to put at least 2 coats of primer on before you put the finish coat on.
Really? Just 2? I'd say based off our last experience, that seems a little ambitious.
So we've got to wait the 16 hours it's recommended, sand it, and then put the second coat of primer on. Then it's non-skid, and then we do the final coat.
About to go paint some hatch covers for the bathroom. Let's go find the stuff. Look at that, aft head. That's exactly where it should be. So I'm gonna use this stuff, what I just used in the cabinets up in the cabin. On this, it's a 2-in-1 primer, so I'm gonna clean this puppy up. I got the other one cleaned up and ready for spray, and then I think I'm gonna spray them all both at the same time. I'm gonna scuff this up a bit.
I'm waiting!
And just like that, we went from cheap looking plastic to hardcore hammered metal. Hi.
Hello.
How'd it go?
Oh, it's painted?
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, first coat's always ugly.
Uh-huh.
I don't even think it looks that much better than it did before.
Oh.
It ruined the kind of spumoni look of the room
Oh.
and turned it into vanilla.
So now you're gonna do the door?
Yeah, I've got a little leftover paint. I'm just gonna give the door just this side a coat.
Okay. And of course I had to go check it out myself. Wow. That actually looks like a shower. Chris and I decided my camera must have a beauty filter on because this was actually much less impressive in person.
I think it looks great.
We had a little extra primer left, so Chris decided to take the door inside down to our paint room and give it a coat. He also decided to test out the sprayer and see if that made any difference.
So these guys are relatively inefficient when it comes to paint. You lose a lot whenever you use one. And that's fine if you're using like a $30 or $40 a gallon household paint. But when you're using this deck paint and primer and the 2-part polyurethane stuff, you don't really want to lose all that much paint in the process. I've kind of resigned myself to the fact that I'm going to lose quite a bit of paint in this whole process, but I'm trying to minimize that. The right way to do it is to have the gun with the hopper mount so that you pretty much utilize all the paint. But here's what I've come up with. If I take this old can and I feed this guy through, I hook it to this guy, and then I pour all the paint in here, at least we'll be able to use this like a hopper and not have a bunch of paint left over, hopefully. Basically, when you make these 2 parts, when you mix them together, all that paint that you've just mixed, you lose. So you don't want to have a bunch left over that you can't suck up into the tube. So this hopefully eliminates that problem. Wish me luck.
Oh, and one quick note, wrapping this with some tape is a great idea.
Hi.
Hi. How'd it go? This is the part where Chris tells me it didn't go so well.
It's so annoying how much paint you waste when you use this sprayer.
Like, I did a whole batch,
Mm-hmm.
and it sucked it out of the thing,
Yeah.
and like was instantly like empty.
Oh.
Because it just took a whole batch to fill up the hose.
Crazy. This is the head after 2 coats of primer. Oh look, we're adding a 3rd coat.
I'm a little worried, Kelly.
Why?
Come in here and I'll show you. That's not a trick. This has had 2 coats of the 2-part primer. and where we mark some things to, like right here is the perfect example. It says other side of this, right? And it bled right through 2 coats of primer. So I'm worried it's going to do that to the final coat, which would really suck to just have that tad graffiti the walls.
I guess it could be worse. Yeah.
So what I did is I took the last little bit of primer that I have, and I'm going to lay it on thick in a big circle and try to smooth sand it out. And hopefully it'll cover it up. That's my goal.
A word of advice, stay away from these because they are
The devil? Everything is the devil to you, mama!
For the bathroom's top coat, we are going with INTERLUX Perfection. This stuff is basically the 2-part polyurethane top of the line paint from INTERLUX, which is a leading brand in paints. It was recommended for this application. Kind of considered doing all grip, but all grip apparently is a lot more finicky to apply right and make it look good. So we're going to use this stuff in a color called Snow White. How whimsical. It's basically the one that's the whitest of the white, so the bathroom's just going to hurt your eyes. The process for making this, or mixing this, is to, I believe it's a 2-to-1 ratio, and pour it in, mix it up, let it sit for 20 minutes to get all the bubbles out, and then you thin it. For the first 2 coats, I'm going to roll it with a foam roller and use a foam brush for the edges. And the reason being is because it's recommended that you sand between coats, so we'll be able to smooth that out. And based on the first two coats, we'll decide whether spraying makes sense for the final coat, because spraying wastes a lot of product, like an expensive, almost gut-wrenching amount. So if it goes on as smooth as people talk about from using a roller, we may just go with that for the whole application. Plus, there's a whole lot less prep time and cleanup time associated with using a roller. So I'm going to mix this up, and then we're going to let it sit for 20 minutes, thin it out, and go put a coat on everything. Also, before I crack this open, this stuff stinks, which means it's probably damaging my brain, so I'm going to go get my respirator real quick. This stuff is not cheap. Can't remember exactly how much it costs for the kit, but I want to say it was in the 140 to 180 range. Another idea that I got from Tom, my boat buddy, is instead of using a 3rd coat of the paint, if it looks great, you can actually use a 3rd clear coat, because this is the same stuff, it just doesn't have any pigment in it. And this gives you a high, hard finish that you can actually repair a lot easier because it's clear. And one last tip, anytime you pour out of this can and you don't have one of those attach-on spouts, always pour over the product logo, like this. Because if you're dumb, like I have been in the past, and you pour this way, you cover your instructions with paint. It's been 20 minutes! Let's pour in some of this stuff that stinks even worse! This is the thinner that they recommend specifically for this product and for rolling it. They have a separate one for spraying. The reason I'm thinning this up to the maximum 10%, which is what we're doing, is this first coat I want to be extremely thin. In the past, I have always erred on the side of more robust coverage, and I'm not doing it this time. I would rather go back and give it 2 full coats while I'm sitting there, if we've got extras, and make sure each coat is thin, because drips suck. Dealing with drips is like the worst. It's just not good all the way around. So if you can avoid any kind of drips or sagging, absolutely do it. You will again be happy with present you. I'm using a high density roller that is supposed to be solvent resistant, but they never seem to be. You know, they always slowly get fat over time. So don't be afraid to change your roller if it starts to get obnoxious to use. And it also helps if you put your paint tray liner in the paint tray the correct orientation. Let's go try it on the door.
So far, so good. We'll see how that dries, if it levels out any more than it is, but it looks pretty and shiny. Let's head up to the boat and do the rest. I'm gonna ditch this one though, because it's floppy shot.
Hang on, first I gotta prep it with another signature wipe down.
This is the before.
And after.
In the words of Mario, here we go! How's that?
That was great.
Oh, I hit.
Here we go!
My plan is to roll it all first, ignoring the corners, moving from the top down,
Okay.
and then going back with that foam roller, or that foam brush, and getting all the corners and smoothing out the roll.
So this is the actual paint.
This is the Snow White Perfection Pro.
Cool. How long does this take to dry?
You can technically recoat after just a couple of hours, but
Oh,
we'll probably do the next coat. I'm thinking either like a coat each evening, so Justin and I can come out here and work all day, and then the last thing I'll do each night is put a coat of paint on so it can sit undisturbed. But we do want to run the dehumidifier
yeah.
while this dries because it is susceptible to humidity and it kind of loses its lustrous shine if
Gotcha.
it's too humid.
The paint is so shiny, I can see the reflection of the paint tray in the wall.
That's what it makes it so awesome.
That's crazy.
It's perfection.
Okay, well that's probably enough footage for the viewers.
Yeah, we'll just get a nice picture after I'm done.
Yeah, that sounds good. I can feel the burn in my throat now. So.
Yeah, you need to get out of here. I forgot you're not wearing a respirator. You should
Yes.
grab that one on the way in.
I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Okay, bye.
If you come back out to get a video of it afterwards, wear one.
I will.
Young lady, I'm concerned about your health.
Okay, that makes sense.
There it is after coat number 1. Look at that shine. So this area right down here and this area up here will get non-skid.
So we don't fall on our butts.
Everything else gets painted. It looks really pretty from far away. The closer you get, the uglier it gets. This is just the first coat. After 1 or 2 more, I'm guessing 2, we should be really able to see your face in the walls.
Just thought we'd throw in another round of sanding with the help of this guy.
How does it look overall?
Overall, it's looking really good. There's just a couple spots that, like, kind of where the paint came down and lipped under these types of things is where, like, most of the drips are coming, but they're coming up really easily. Sand it up and use another coat, and then should be good.
Cool. So that red Sharpie got covered up everywhere?
Yeah,
Yeah. Sweet.
yeah.
Alright. Cool.
This guy's all prepped for last coat. Last night, I cut out these guys so we can put a little paint on the interior angle. That's for the toilet paper. Little access hatch. Clean this all up. Ferret all the sides. Got ready for the door. Oh, it's exciting. Everything's so smooth. And not as shiny because I had to sand it. Ah, that's gotta go.
Oh, this is where I wipe everything down again with that toxic bullshit.
Today, we will put on the final coat of paint in that aft head. And obviously, it's the most important.
And the saga continues, all the prepping, priming, and painting one can possibly imagine.
We get another video of this?
I came up here because I found a foam brush on the floor and I thought it might have fallen out of your butt.
Where did you find it?
In the bathroom. Yep, I'm assuming it just fell out of your pocket.
Sweet, what's with all the on the steps?
I don't know. I scrubbed that down like twice. There was a bunch of stuff on it.
Well, I would say you probably got most of it.
You had one job.
Just the one.
It's non-skid day, Kelly.
Cool, finally.
It's just perfect spheres that are designed to mix in with the paint and create a non-skid surface. Actually, 1 ounce would be about the perfect amount. So that's all it is. That's all you mix in. 1 ounce, because it says 46 ounces by volume of this per quart of finished paint as a starting point. Stir compound thoroughly, allow to sit for 10 to 15 minutes to absorb paint, and stir again. Use stir stick as a measure of density of the beads. So this won't give us a ton of texture. Should we up it to the maximum or just leave it like this and see how it looks? What do you think?
I think we should leave it like that. See
That's probably solid logic there. So I'm gonna go do some spot painting, then mix this in, stir it, and then I got a 15-20 minute wait while it absorbs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yay.
So,
I'm just checking on you.
hi Kelly.
Hi.
Welcome back to the boat.
How's it going?
Ask me that in about 20 minutes, because right now I'm just masking for the non-skid so our tushies don't slide off this thing.
Sweet.
Sweet, sweet tushies. Are you ready for this?
Ready. Whoa. Science.
Mix in, mix in, mix in, mix in, mix in, mix in, mix and mix.
Do you think that seems like enough?
Yeah,
skid?
because I think it swells.
Okay.
We'll find out. Like, do you really want it to be uber bumpy?
No, I don't, because you sit on it.
Yeah, exactly. So just enough that your feet don't go out from underneath you. Nope, we're gonna let it sit for 15 minutes.
Damn it.
Then we paint those little boxes. And all this prep work and all this anticipation comes down to 5 seconds of going, well, I guess I'm done. Let's see if these things have hit the gym and got swolled. Swolled. Nope, they're still little guys.
Oh, should we add more?
No.
What do you think?
I'm happy with this. All right, let's go do it.
All right.
You ready to rock?
Ready.
I said, are you ready to rock?
Ready.
Here we go. Yeah, there's some texture there.
How satisfying is that?
It's extremely satisfying. I don't think I've ever felt more satisfied while doing something by myself. All done for your observation.
Yay.
Ignore the pencil line because that'll come off.
Okay.
Try not to stick your hand in it. This is not a piece of concrete for memorabilia purposes.
Aww. Wouldn't that be fun and cute? Wow, that looks cool. That seems like the perfect level of grip.
Well, that's a wrap for this week's episode. Tune in next week for more bathroom stuff.
Here we go!
Hey you, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw and you want to keep following along, become a subscriber. Just hit that subscribe button below.
See how my roller starts to get wobbly dongy?
Yeah,
That's a problem.
wobbly dongy.
Yeah, it looks like a dildo.